Hey,
What's up?
nerds and future nerds. How are you all doing? I hope you're having a good day. And if you're not, I hope that this maybe brightens your day up a little bit. We're playing Mosquito Highway USA by noted Twine dev Punk Lizard. Now, at risk of jinxing us, it feels like our patrons are on a bit of a fixation here.
It's vampire time again.
Apparently, it is once again time for our patrons to make us play a vampire game, which is fine. We got nothing against vampires. It's just weird that it's happened twice in the past 3 months.
I made it through the last vampire game without screaming, so...
Well, that's good. There
I was
weren't any
very
scary
brave.
Draculas.
Yeah, there were scary Draculas, but I was very brave, so I think we'll do okay with this one, too.
I hope so. And also, as a fellow Twine dev, I'm always happy to play more Twine games on the channel. Can I call myself that? I feel like I can.
Yes,
I feel like
I'll allow it.
I feel like I'm allowed to now. Anyway, let's start with content warnings. But first, text adventure by Punk Lizard. This game was created as a part of Vampire the Masquerade Game Jam. I know nothing about Vampire the Masquerade, do you?
I briefly played one of the computer RPG adaptations.
Rad. Is there anything specific to the scenario, to the setting that I should know about?
They are vampires. They're cool.
Okay, awesome. Events portrayed in this game are not canon within the World of Darkness universe. Good to know.
I think there's like squabbling vampire houses and stuff, and there's 2 major factions, and I don't remember the names of everything.
All right. Okay, fair enough. Content warnings. This is a horror/comedy game about vampires, as they are depicted in Vampire the Masquerade. Although there will be light moments throughout comedy, this is still a game that contains animal death. Rudy's pet cannot die, though. Good to know. Violence, blood, major character death, guns, tobacco mentions. Major character death. All right, that's fair. Please feel free to tap out at any time. Have a picture of my gargoyle gecko.
Nice.
Rad. Okay.
Thank you
I
for
mean,
the gecko.
I too, love it when I get pictures of geckos as preliminary compensation for my emotional distress. Whoa. Oh, that's clever.
Yeah.
Oh, see, now I'm thinking about, how did they do that? Oh, okay, hold on. Notice, this is a game with branching paths and alternate endings, and as such is meant to be played several times. If you're new to the game, click here. Warning, skipping the prologue without ever having played it will make the game's story borderline incomprehensible. But if you've already played through the prologue and don't want to read it again, click here. Okay, we're new to this game, so we're going to go ahead and click here.
All right.
Oh, those are some nice transitions. Or what those are. Very nice. Her knees ache. Her lips creak. Her skin is cold. It's been hours, but nobody has come to find her as she goes deeper and deeper into the woods. Then, further and further up the hill, frustration fills her core, because although she has been taken by despair, she finds herself unable to cry. She grips her hair with white knuckles, frustrated. Focus. Oh my god, she's starving. That is really cool. I want to know how it does that. She has a headache that makes her cover her eyes as she walks, digging her nails into her forehead. She doesn't know where she is because she never decided on where she's even going. She can't turn around now. How would she explain herself? What would they say to her? What would he say to her? She's done this before, she remembers, but she never went this far from home since she settled here. She's crossed a line. Focus. She stands at the top of the hill, hugging herself while her stomach gnaws at itself. She turns to look at her home, now far off in the distance, one last time, wondering if she ever made a difference in the first place. Is it just jittering every so often, or is that just me?
That was when the scroll bar popped in.
Oh, I see. It's on fire. All heroes deserve a name.
All right.
Okay, what's her name for our hero? Are we,
No.
I won't do that one. How about we'll be hero?
All right.
Is that good?
All right.
All right. Is this your name? Oh, why is it so menacing?
It's not my name.
It's not my... Okay, fine. No, you want to know what my name is? Okay. It's canon now. We can't change it. We can't ever go back. What is your gender? My gender is neither. We'll go with female for now, though. That's fine. Select your race.
Elf.
Man, we are
Evil
going
elf.
through fucking character customizations. All right. Elf, evil elf, human, orc, or vampire. I don't know how this changes things. What do you think we should be?
I don't know.
I don't want to be an orc. Can
Let's
we be an
do
orc?
that.
Do you select orc? Big brutish with a love of clubs, maces, axes, and flails. Is that who we are? This is
Sure.
who I am. Select your class.
This is not how Vampire the Masquerade works.
You sure? What do you know about Vampire the Masquerade? Can you be certain that this isn't how it works?
Quite.
All right.
I wonder what the shtick is here.
Maybe we're just in universe doing a D&D game.
Probably, yeah. Probably, yeah.
How about we are an orc thief?
Okay.
That is enough of that, you think? You lean back, seeing the screen where you can choose your class. That is enough of that, thank you. Let's check our phone. It's almost time for work. Shit, you spent so much time in character creation that you probably won't have time for this game until after work. You should go get your keys. Oh, good to know. None of that characterization mattered.
Yeah.
Stand up, Rudy. Your name is Rudy Bradowitz. Wow. I even down to the plaid, I feel like I have been captured. You're a 23-year-old non-binary retail worker. You like to draw fantasy creatures on the side, but recently you haven't had the inspiration. You're 6 feet, and you have a weird shoulder that locks up every 30 or so minutes, requiring you to stretch your entire neck-shoulder area religiously. You like to call this CGD, or chronic gamer disorder, for humorous purposes. I, too, get shoulder things that aren't pleasant. Fun. The last time you showed your music playlist to a girl on a dating app, she immediately blocked you, which is a good summary of your romantic exploits as well as your general social situation. I thought it was going to say it's a good summary of your music taste as well. What do you think we're listening to now?
I don't know.
As our 23-year-old non-binary retail worker selves. I'm going through a Japanese shoegaze phase at the moment, so maybe that. No matter how many RPGs you download or how much you daydream, you are you, and there's no changing that. You will always be Rudy. And now, Rudy, you need to find your keys. All right. Investigate your room, Rudy. God, we're getting some, like, menacing vibe out of these directives here. You live in a small one-room apartment, not counting a skinny little closet and bathroom. You lean against your desk, which is more like a fold-out table that you put a gaming laptop on. No keys here. On a mini bookshelf next to your table desk is your gecko's vivarium. Oh, Taquito, your beloved. Taquito the gecko! Oh. In the corner of your room is your mattress, which is covered in pillows, blankets, and the smell of body odor. You will need to go to the laundromat like yesterday. Above it is some posters you taped to the wall of a band you like, with your favorite being an image of the 4 band members standing in front of a blue background.
Is that Weezer?
I think that sounds like the Weezer album cover, is what that sounds like to me. You have a small, crappy TV you got from the side of the road on a small stand across from your bed. You wonder if it's older than you. Your kitchenette is small and grossly underutilized, but like, what's an oven for? You oven the food, but of out hot eat the food? Right? Making something other than fistfuls of bologna? And what's a fridge if not a gamer juice energy drink container? Let's start with checking the taquito stand / bookshelf. Investigating the shelf. Taquito is in his tank, so you reach in and offer your hand. Your little gecko, your best friend, your buddy, your son, crawls onto your hand. This is the best. He doesn't have your keys or anything, but you love him regardless. You can pet the gecko.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Do it. Pet the gecko.
Whoop. All right, there it goes. I like these. I'm sorry. I never had the chance to mess around with screen transitions like this in Twine, so this is really neat. I'm taking notes. You look at your bed. God, it looks warm and cozy right now. You can imagine sinking into that thing and taking a good long nap. I suppose not. You enter the kitchenette. There's not much, but hey, an oven, a microwave, and a sink. What more could a Rudy need? There's cabinets and drawers, but you doubt you'd shove your keys in there where you keep your fork or your cup or your plate. You also have an old red bowl that you put random stuff in, just like everyone else. The bowl, or check the drawer, or yeah, no, fuck this. Let's check the bowl. You check the bowl, fishing your hand around inside. Packs of gum, a rock, a bottle of Taquitos, crusted gecko diet, a pen, but no keys. But you pick up the pen, pocketing it in case you need to write stuff down. Also, you like to fidget with it when you're stressed at work. It's got a good tactile feel. Yes! Finally, we're a pen fidgeter. That fits. Let's fuck it, check a drawer. Your gaze shifts to a drawer. You have the tendency to shove stuff in that one sometimes. Maybe your keys are in there. Force, jam the pen in the gap. We got a pen. Let's try that. You jam that pen in there and jostle it around. Something inside must be jamming it. Ah! You shift something and the drawer pops open. The pen goes back in your pocket while you search through the junk drawer. Ah ha ha ha! Your keys. Keys added to inventory. You have your keys. With keys in hand, you can go down to your car and get out of here. Go lay in bed instead. You find yourself in bed. You don't even remember laying down. It just happened. Your joints are sore, and damn it, it's nice to just lay down for a moment. You didn't sleep well last night, so you melt into your blankets and just take a moment. Take a moment. You cannot help yourself. Your eyes close for just one. After a moment, you check your phone. Shit! You shoot out of your bed and run out of your apartment, saying bye to your gecko. You're late! It's time to go! You drive down the street. You live at the edge of suburbia. If you go down one road, you pass by chain stores, fancy breweries, and at least 5 mattress stores. That checks out, actually. But down this road is all farmland and old, nearly collapsed, and sometimes fully collapsed tobacco huts. To your left, you see some cows grazing. I like to wave and sneak over sometimes to pet the ones that hang out at the edge of the fence, but today you simply have no time. You keep driving. Finally, you stop at the gas station you work at. Let's get out of your car. You arrive at your work, a gas station by the side of the road. Excellent. This gas station, small as it is where you work. You pass by the person who was on shift before you, but by the time you think of a greeting, they're already getting in their car. Nice. It's an atypical place rather than a larger building attached to the station. There's a small little hut, as you call it, in the center. You just sell the basics. Snacks, cigs, and Advil. There's a lot of gas stations along this road that are nicer, so people don't tend to bother you much. It's nice, if a little mind-numbing. Enter the hut. Why is that so menacing? Off with your flannel. On with your weird little apron. You leave it in the drawer under the cash register. Work time. You clean up a bit, making sure all the cigarette boxes are lined up right in their case. It's hard not to feel like a caged animal with all the large, obnoxious security cameras peering down at you in here, but you appreciate them. They're basically big, trying to rob and murder me as a bad plan signs blinking in neon, so you'll just try not to make eye contact. Fair enough. You stretch, listening to your back pop as you do so. You lean against the counter, finding that this is the best way to keep your shoulder from killing you, but it always happens during these shifts anyway. You rarely get anyone during these shifts, but there has to be someone here in case some truckers need some damp old ports. Last time your boss saw you draw on camera, you got chewed out hard, so you pick a specific tuft of grass in the distance and stare, stupidly, and allow your mind to wander. Think, Rudy. It's a particular form of cruelty having, to work jobs like that where someone has to be staffing the place. but it's during a time when literally no one will show up and they won't let you just do something to keep yourself occupied.
Or even have a chair purely out of you have to be miserable or else it doesn't
Right.
count as work.
Exactly. Like, what fucking kind of, like, what kind of ethos is that for, like, never mind. Sorry. That's not based off of years of retail experience. Don't worry about that. Nothing bubbling up to the surface. You daydream. For what feels like hours, your brain races around in your skull. You try to focus on what you'll do when you get home, but all you can settle on is maybe doing some laundry and starting up that game. Besides, when you try, you can find yourself somewhere else, in a fantasy world, in a past conversation, in a future conversation, but your back hurts and all you can do is stare at random bush in the distance. You crack your knuckles, considering throwing a few bucks into the cash register yourself so you can have a Hershey bar or something, but if you make that a habit, you'll be sick of candy before the International Discount Candy Day, the day after Valentine's Day. You sigh and lean down, resting your chin on your forearm. You check your phone and realize you've only been here for 20 minutes. Do your job. You work retail. You do your job. Serving a couple of truckers and a couple more drunk college students being carted around by a designated driver. You don't make much conversation with any of them because, frankly, drunk people either try to make puns with your name tag or awkwardly hit on you. So you just do your job and close the window as quickly as possible. It is chilly out. At around midnight, you roll your shoulders as your other coworker, the one who takes absolute graveyard hours going into the morning, takes over. You throw on your flannel and head outside. You park at the edge of the parking lot by a large overgrown tree. You feel exhausted and bored, entering your car for the long country road back home. Drive, Rudy. And you drive and drive. At night, there's barely another car on the road. There's no streetlights once you turn into the country road back to your tiny apartment complex, but hey, at least they finally paved this one. Tall trees surround you, almost obscuring the dark sky above. Despite being in a more rural area, you live in such close proximity to the capital city that no stars guide you save for the distant blinking of a light of a phone tower. Everything is shades of black around you, showing only under the bright lights of your old car. You spot a woman. You barely register anything about her, but the fact that she is young, probably a little younger than you, and is standing at the side of the road. She waves her arms to get your attention, and without thinking, you slow down, pulling to the side with your back bumper a few feet from her. You get out of your car and face her. She looks nervous, averting your gaze when she can.
NC State.
NC State. Oh, interesting. I didn't catch that. Yeah. So we're in the Carolinas, huh? Oh, I like the jitter text here. You ask her what's wrong. She almost looks embarrassed to be bothering you, fidgeting with some rings on her pale fingers.
I'm sorry, it's just I think I found someone's pet, but it looks injured and I don't have a phone and...
She cuts herself off, looking a little embarrassed.
I was just taking a walk and I don't have a car. Do you think you can help me wrangle the poor guy? Maybe take him to a shelter?
Sure. Let's ask what animal. You ask her what the animal is. Is it a cat, a dog? You're curious, and she rubs her arm nervously.
I think it's someone's iguana.
You blunk, alarmed. You tell her that it's going to get way too cold for an iguana tonight, and she looks alarmed.
Crap, really? Can you help me catch him then?
Of course we will. Of course we will. You tell her to lead the way. Oh, that's nice. I like that. Because the first time you look at it, you're like, oh, that just looks like a weird, zoomed out fractally thing. And then you're like, oh, wait, no, it's trees. Oh, that's cute. I like that. That's really good. She smiles wide and walks off, going deeper into the forest. It's so dark and dense, but what choice do you have here, really? Follow her into the depths. Whoa! Into the forest you go. Stepping over roots and around large rocks, you chat while you walk. She mentions that she's going to a concert later this week over in Asheville, and it's actually a band that you like. You tell her that you have a poster of them on your wall, and she tells you that they're her second favorite band. You go to ask for her first favorite band when she stops you. Hand on your chest in the cold November air. Her hand is icy, even through your shirt. As she looks at something large and green. You can barely make it out, but you know what it is. That is the biggest damn iguana you've ever seen. Why is it so big? What do we do? You're about to turn your head to her, but you stop as your eyes adjust further. It's a massive iguana, easily 6 feet or maybe even more in length. It's covered in spikes like the usual iguana is, but these spikes stick straight upward, seeming almost solid. You know more about geckos than iguanas, but this isn't right. It moves all wrong, pacing back and forth rather than lounging like iguanas tend to do. It's cold enough, it should be slowed down, but it's practically stomping around. You're transfixed on it until you're brought back to reality by the bushes shaking. A squirrel hops out, moving to climb up a tree away from the miniature dinosaur. The iguana turns and sprints, snapping up the squirrel in its jaws. You gasp, stepping back. They're herbivores, aside from the occasional cricket. You turn to the girl to tell her that it must be rabid and that you need to call animal control. Look, oh! I didn't get to see what that was. Her eyes are bright and reflective like a cat staring down at you despite your near head of height difference above her. She chills you to your core, making you step back as the dying squirrel squeals its last only a few feet away. You don't know how to describe the look that she's giving you, but the sight of it makes you almost feel the need to cover up your skin, not out of modesty, but out of self-preservation. Your legs are stiff with your boot against a brute behind you. You know logically that you'll be tripping over yourself if you run away in a dark forest, but this girl, she is going to fucking kill you. You can feel it in yourself, in your bones, in your skin, in your hair. It's the same feeling your sure knights had when they looked down and saw a sword piercing their chest. You're finished. But even then, you turn to bolt. The back of your flannel is grabbed and yanked back, and unreasonably strong arms wrap around you, with one around your torso and one snaking up, covering your mouth by grabbing the lower half of your face. Nails dig into your jaw so hard that blood is drawn and you yell, but it's muffled. A tongue goes up the side of your face, cleaning it of blood and leaving you with only a throaty revulsion. Finally, 2 hooked snake-like fangs puncture your skin.
Hot.
Is it? Is it, though? I mean, it must be for, like, no judgment, obviously, but...
Give me a girl who will literally fucking kill me.
Well, all right. At first, you feel nothing. Everything fades as your eyes close. You aren't cold anymore. The pain and soreness melt away from your shoulders, and your body goes limp. You aren't even sure if you're being held anymore as you just exist for a moment, separating from your body completely. Your mind races, but you can't focus on a thought for long. You might try to think for a moment about what's happening, but it's like your train of thought that steams through your head has finally reached the end of the track, falling car by car into a deep, black abyss. Feel again, Rudy. Keys removed from inventory and phone removed from... Oh, she pocketed us! Why? That's petty, is what that is. Okay, you know what? Petty. You feel once more. Little sparks in your nerves let you know that you're still in a body somewhere in the abyss. They're so small, but in a sea of nowhere, they're loud and overwhelming in a way that obliterate the senses. It starts at the side of your neck, buzzing in a way that would make you squirm if you could, and then it starts to travel. Up your neck, down your shoulders, around your rib cage, like lights on a Christmas tree. You light up one nerve at a time in an agonizing pace. It's white hot and goes deep into your skin and muscle, leaving a light tingle in their wake as your body wakes up again. You feel your clothes against your skin and their softness, but you also feel biting cold that makes you wish you could wiggle your nose. Your legs and feet burn last, and you start to try to flex your body, but find that you can't. You're sore like you just had the hardest workout of your life, but further, your mouth is dry like sandpaper, and your stomach is so empty it feels like it's chewing on itself in your guts. How long has it been? Your body occasionally shakes, and you swear you're laying on something bumpy.
Is the text jumping around?
It is a little bit.
Okay, it makes it feel like it's like the feeling when I'm really tired and my eyes won't focus, except I'm fully awake, and so it's like triggering existential crisis.
You're like, am I asleep and not knowing it? Like, am I actually sleepier?
Why aren't my eyes obeying me?
Why can't I trust my own internal reports of how sleepiness feels anymore? Whoa! You try to look around. Find yourself unable to open your eyes. In fact, you're still immobile. Even now if you're back in your body. You're too tired to even question this more than a passive confusion. You gonna...
You... Shovel.
You can hear voices, but they're muffled. You try to concentrate on them more.
Of course, barium, that...
Ugh, you feel pins and needles still, and you can barely make this voice out. Sounds older and male, definitely. The other voice before it was younger and feminine, familiar. Oh, it's her, Iguana Girl! You'd grown, but you can't even do that. There's a bump again, and you realize that from the sound of it, you're in the back of some kind of van. The engine is loud and rumbling underneath you and the pile of whatever it is you're on. Let's contemplate your options. You lay there thinking. You know what this reminds me of? Reminds me of like the menacing Evangelion title cards.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Big menacing white serif text commands. Yep. That girl, did she fucking kidnap you? She must have drugged you or something with that dream you had. Ugh, you didn't think you had subconscious snake fears, but you can't really afford a therapist, so, it sounded like they wanted to bury something? And you're in the back of their van. Ugh, you want to hurl. You need to think. These drugs should wear off soon, right? You feel an uncomfortable heaviness in your heart. That must be the drugs. If you just wait it out, then by the time they go to bury you alive like some kind of rival assassin, you'll just hop up and, Fuck! Oh, that's the man.
Fuck, a dog?
The man yells, and like that, the van swerves. Your back hits the wall, then as the other as the van goes back and forth exceptionally fast. The other cold, heavy, but rubbery objects hit you hard, but for some reason your body becomes your own again as something leaves your chest, freeing you. Pain shoots through you as you're suddenly under the other cargo, feeling crushed. You're shuddering in the cold, finally, looking around as the van has abruptly stopped. There's no light for your eyes to adjust to. Did they black out the windows? They had to. You're on your back now, face to face with whatever is pressing down on you. It feels odd, like rubber that got wrapped up in fabric. You try to feel around, but your arms are under more of these things. If you could just pull yourself out, you can do it, you have to. The door handle to the van is grabbed and turned. Play dead. Moonlight illuminates the van. Behind you, someone opens the door, peering inside. Your eyes adjust, seeing that above you is black fabric.
They're all still staked, Anemone.
Anemone? She must have lied about her name.
Gray, did you see the size of that thing? Do you think it was a gangrel?
While the two spoke, you chew the inside of your cheek and scan what's on top of you. Luckily, you can make tiny head movements considering you're, under stuff that is hiding you from sight. Feels like there's a shirt between you and, you flex your hands around the other objects. They feel the rubbery, cold skin of human arms. Your leg, you realize, is rubbing against someone's galoshes. Oh God, everyone's so cold and it hits you. Fuck, it hits you like a train. They're dead. All of them. Every object you've been feeling. They're dead bodies. All of them. You feel bile in your throat and you want to scream so fucking bad, but you can't. Those murderers are chatting behind you. Anemone yells something and the two run off. Get out, Rudy! Snarls and yells can be heard in the distance. Fear makes your throat clench, but you try to shimmy anyways, shaking your arms and legs to try to free them. Your own stomach is gnawing through you, emboldening you to move, to get out of here as soon as you can. Your left arm is freed, shooting into the air before you immediately use it to shove the largest corpse off of you. You free your arms and legs while looking at this man. He was probably in his 40s or 50s and wore a trucker hat that now, sadly, has fallen off his head. He had a wooden stake through his heart, and with a quick glance, you see everyone else has too.
Was it a T-bone? A ribeye?
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. What is a skeleton's favorite snack? Oh no. When you look down, you realize that there's a hole in your shirt over your heart. And when you move your flannel, but the skin is smooth and pale and cold to the touch. Oh, fuck, you have to leave before the November air makes your now exposed nipple fall off. You twist and crawl out of the van, falling onto the asphalt road. Pain too strong for what you've just done courses through you. Why are you so sensitive? You chalk it up to the drugs as you crawl to your hands and knees. Your limbs feel so strange. Your muscle pains are gone for the first time in years, but your entire body is shaky. It isn't out of pain or cold, you realize, but an antsiness that permeates through your entire body. You're too full of anxious energy, and when you hear another scream from far behind you, your feet pick you up, and you run the fastest you've ever ran, down the road into the night. You run for miles. You've been running for so long that the smack of shoes against asphalt has started to feel rhythmic and familiar. Your body, By now you'd usually be heaving, but the only pain or strain you feel is your throat and stomach. You'd swear you've been starving in the middle of the Sahara. You're so hungry you could eat rocks, and you're so thirsty your own sweat would be appetizing, but when you feel yourself, your cold skin hasn't sweat at all. You've been exerting yourself, so why are you still so cold? Did something just moo? You turn your head and see the field of cows that you pass every day. All of them had gone inside their barn, save for one straggler. Did the dogs miss her? Get out of here. Your body takes you forward and you sprint messily, nearly tripping over yourself to hop the fence. With your shoe on top of the wood, you propel yourself with a strong kick, jumping higher than you ever had onto the unsuspecting cow. It happens so fast that it doesn't even react, just mooing in distress and surprise as you latch onto its back. Your teeth throb in your mouth before you bite down hard. Blood spurts and enters your mouth in waves, allowing you to gulp. It tastes like fucking grass, but so much relief fills you and oozes your nerves. You feel yourself decompress, digging your nails into the cow with newfound strength. Eventually the cow falls over, and you go with it, landing on your ass beside it. Get a hold of yourself. At the edge of the fence, two people stand beside their car.
Hey, wait.
A gruffer voice calls out to you, but you've already scrambled to your feet and started to run away. You go across the field, not daring to look behind you and get caught again. You hop another fence and run through the woods, reaching another road that you recognize and running up to it, desperately hoping that you've lost the two that had caught up to you. You make it to your apartment complex after what feels like hours, but the moon is still high in the sky above you as you go up the stairs. Around the corner, open your door and enter. And digest. I thought she took our keys.
Yeah.
You throw your flannel onto your TV, leaving you in your shirt. Lean against the door and sit down, resting your hands against your carpet. You feel so cold. Still, despite the objective warmth of your apartment. Your hands are pale, having lost any amount of rosiness they once possessed. Your nails need trimming in a way that you don't remember being a problem before you left. What time is it? You reach around to find your phone, but find nothing in your pockets but the pen from earlier. You've been exerting yourself for hours in ways you couldn't even manage in 10 minutes, but you're not sweaty, and your heart isn't beating as loudly as it should. Pull down your collar and feel your chest. Your heart no longer beats. End of prologue. Hey! We got vamped. How does it feel to be vamped?
Pretty cool.
Now, does that come with like benefits? Do we get like a union card or something? Is there a vampires union? I mean, if we got to go around bloodsucking, right? With the sun about to rise, you went to bed. You awaken with your face buried in your pillow. Periodically, you were waken up by a grody feeling in your stomach, leading you to more bathroom trips in one day than possible, but no matter how hard you tried, you could never bring yourself to stay awake for long, dragging yourself to bed to sleep through the day. You can feel it. It has to be later in the day now. You figure you'll have to call off work because of being sick, and you dread it. Getting yelled at by your boss doesn't sound like great medicine, but you need to process what happened. You sit up, rubbing the sleep out of your eyes and reaching around for your glasses next to your bed. When you look over, however, you see two blurry figures in your home. One, taller, was sitting in your desk chair, while the other, shorter, just walked out of your bathroom.
You will not yell.
That voice is so gruff that you can't help but comply, gritting your teeth and backing up in bed, hitting the wall. Put on glasses or save your game? Let's put on our glasses.
Sure.
You grab your glasses and look at your invaders. The one addressing you remember seeing them, before. They look amused by this whole thing, flashing sharp canines that, at this point, aren't even surprising. You know what? That is a mood right there.
Die.
Just die. You just cut right to the chase, huh?
You are awake. Excellent. Relax. We have no intention of hurting you.
He has a weird speech tick as he talks, extending his R's almost like he's buffering or growling. It's a mix between a growl, a stutter, and a rolled R sound. Anyway, it doesn't sound intentional. He has a very confident air about him, the kind of demeanor you get when you think you're 10 feet tall. In actuality, if he took off his giant steel-toed boots, he'd probably be average.
Sorry we broke in. Nice gecko, by the way.
This guy, he's short and sounds pretty feminine, but you chalk it up to him being young. Probably barely 18, maybe even younger, and doesn't seem to like making eye contact. It's a pretty chill energy despite being, you know, an intruder. Let's get a more detailed description of the gruff one first. Die. This guy is all triangles. That's a great descriptor. Holy shit, because I understand what it's getting at too. the body type.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a great. He's broad-shouldered and has crazy small waist, making him seem ridiculously pointy. Actually, not seem. He just is. He has sharp cheekbones, sharp jaw, sharp acrylic nails, and sharpest of all, fangs. What's noteworthy, because you live in a small, boring, conservative area, is that this guy is somehow wildly GNC, but still extremely masculine. You don't know how someone could seem masculine wearing lipstick, eyeliner, and eyeshadow, but he is somehow doing it. Realize it's because of his demeanor. He takes up space with his hands and hips on his legs, perpetually shoulder-width apart like he's ready for a fight at any moment. He's pretty muscular, too. Whenever he moves, his arms flex despite him being objectively skinny, and you make eye contact. He tells you that you're far too young for him. He doesn't look that much older than you are, but honestly, you take the fanged man at his word, and you two silently agree to never discuss this interaction again. Anyway. You grab your glasses and look at your invaders. Oh. Look at the small one. This guy. He gives us such ice skate and make bongs out of cola bottles energy. You think, if you asked, he'd probably introduce you to a type of shrooms unknown by God. He seems like he knows where to find all of the good underground concerts. He has a shirt on that's clearly some kind of band, and you've never heard of them, but their merch is so covered in fantasy imagery that you're intrigued. If that's aping an actual album cover, I don't know what it is. He's got gray hair, weirdly enough, but it looks messy and fried, so you chalk it up to a bad dye job like his friend. Notice he's got a little trans flag pin on his jacket. Well, that's cool as hell. Translates, little man. He sees you, notice his pin, and smiles. What an awesome dude. If only he didn't break it to your fucking apartment. Hey, he moved on to the do crimes part of Be Gay Do Crimes. Anyways. Ask what they're doing in your apartment. You demand to know what they're doing in your apartment. Your voice cracks when you ask, and the gruff one sighs, leaning forward in your gamer chair, threading his long, skinny fingers together. You gotta...
I'm trying to think. I think that I confused this character with a previous character. I thought these two were the same two from before.
I thought so, because I saw I think this is the same one from before, because I think we saw their portrait very briefly.
We did, but I realized it said they were in a car, and then we were in a van earlier. So I think that I think these are different people.
Okay, it still likes your voice for them.
I can't do weird R's in that voice, so
okay,
we'll have to skip that vocal tick if I keep with it.
Well, it's up to you.
Okay. I think I will switch up voices for this character because this looks like the correct character to ham it up.
Okay, yeah, go for it. Go get all hammy up in there.
I am going to cut directly to the chase, child. Who is your sire? Who are you the ward of? What is your clan? You are not in serious trouble here. However, what you did last night could have easily become a masquerade breach had Kine passed by.
He scans your face. You must look pretty alarmed and confused because he continues.
Relax, for, as the sheriff, I have no desire to stomp you out. Only avoid further incident. It's a miracle you didn't drain that cow fatally.
Sheriff? But wait, this guy doesn't look like a cop. What kind of cop breaks into houses to terrorize... Oh god, he really is a cop, isn't he? Be a tough dude about this. Okay, that is wrong. You burst... You burst into tears. You've had a long 24 hours, and frankly, you're a tough guy for not bursting into tears earlier. You tell the slightly more immoral than usual cop that you didn't mean to bite the cow, but it just sort of happened because you were very, very stressed out after you were kidnapped. Did you mention that you were kidnapped? I love this specific 2-panel beat.
Yeah.
That gets... I love that. That it's... You tell them that there's a serial killer in the woods and and an iguana that eats squirrels, but iguanas are actually a very misunderstood creature, so please don't treat other iguanas like they're monsters because this one iguana is rabid, and your heart hasn't actually beat for several hours, and you think you're dying, and really you don't want to go to jail.
How long have you been embraced, dude?
This question came from the young guy this time. You tell him you don't like hugs, and the two exchange another glance before the gruff one speaks again.
We have a lot to explain to you.
Listen. They tell you to take a shower and get dressed, and then they shall explain it all. You do so, awkwardly shuffling to the bathroom in last night's clothes, bringing something to change into with you. Come back out after a while, drying off your hair with a towel while the short one stares at Taquito's vivarium, and the gruff one still sits in your chair, lips pressed in a thin line.
I will cut to the chase. You died last night. You are a vampire, or kindred, as we refer to it.
You're too tired, embarrassed and overwhelmed to really feel an impact from those words. You lean against the doorframe of your bathroom, looking down.
I'm sure you surmised this by yourself after feeling your pulse and jumping on that cow. What is your name?
You tell them.
I see. I am Anastasios, sheriff of the Raleigh Camarilla, child of Clan Ventru, but our reach and power extends to the surrounding suburban crawl and rural towns. I, however, am not a police officer.
He looks serious, furrowing his brow.
My role is not that of any pig you have encountered, Rudy. Think of me more as the left hand of the prince and her law. I am in charge of investigating threats to vampire secrecy, as well as threats on our people. My Clan Malkavian associate, Flash, is another official, with a role that may be difficult to explain in short. I am sure you have questions for me.
Yeah, first one, vampirism. You ask for an elaboration on vampirism. Flash seems to take over for this one, resting his arm on Anastasio's shoulder.
So, yeah, we're real. You can live...
Anastasios cuts him off to make a correction.
You're dead, actually. We are technically dead.
Flash huffed, puffing out his cheeks defiantly.
Let me finish. Man, anyways, yeah, you're sort of like a corpse being possessed by your own ghost, being kept animated by blood, which you drink now. Animal blood works, but it's...
fucking gross.
Absolutely. Like, I gagged watching you hop on that cow, but if you don't walk into the sunlight, get your head destroyed, or get devoured by another vampire, you can live basically forever. You won't age anymore either.
He pats Anastasios. It's going to take me a couple times here to get the Anastasios' head. Wait, won't age? How old are these people? You ask their ages, and Flash pokes Anastasios' cheek.
He's 61.
You clearly look shocked because Anastasios just huffs while Flash chuckles at you.
I know, right? A real baby boomer. He got embraced in the 1980s and made sheriff in 2005.
Anastasios then corrects him.
2004. But yes, it is all true. The only changes in my appearance that have been made are in clothing, how I wear my hair, and magic-induced top surgery.
You aren't sure how to respond to the concept of immortality, so you tell Anastasios congratulations on his surgery, but to be careful since he's in the sticks.
I am an immortal vampire with exceptional strength and power. I think I can handle some rude hicks, but I appreciate it.
Wait. Exceptional strength and power? Magic that can do transaffirming surgery? You allow yourself to get a little bit excited. I see the angle now. I'm seeing all of the angles now. Are you a wizard now? That's what's on your mind, alongside the dread of being told that you died and the horror of knowing that you're a shambling corpse. But magic, is that real? Well, I mean, it has to be, considering the information, right? You ask flat out what vampiric supernatural powers there are. Anastasios grins.
Now that is the golden question, but alas, we currently do not know what you can do. Vampires come in varieties, known as clans, depending on your sire. Do you know your sire?
You tell them her name and what she looked like. Anastasios furrowed his brow.
And she had an iguana. It sounds like she did not utilize any mind-altering disciplines on you. And she appeared mostly human.
He leans back in his chair, thinking about it.
That narrows it down. I'll let you know if I have further theories. As for now, you do not need to breathe, and you have heightened capabilities, which is an excellent start.
You sigh. You wished you were a wizard. Ask other questions. They tell you to take a shower and get dressed. Then they shall explain it all.
This is the same screen.
Oh. How did this happen? You ask how this happened. Anastasios' expression turns very grim and serious, with Flash choosing to hang back for a moment while his friend and associate spoke.
Were you grabbed and bitten last night?
You paused, remembering then uncomfortably, and nodded your head.
Last night you were drained of all your blood, effectively killing you. Your sire then fed you her blood from her own veins, which resurrected you, making you into a vampire of her clan. As for the origin of this curse, there are theories, but currently we have no clue. The ideas range from unholy Christian mythology to some kind of alien experiment gone wrong.
Why did this happen? You ask why you were embraced. Anastasios leaned back in his seat, chewing the inside of his cheek.
We believe this to be the work of a rival organization known as the Sabbat.
Flash looked away, staring at your gecko's vivarium solemnly.
They are a hyper-militaristic sect of kindred obsessed with a looming apocalypse that they confused themselves into believing in, and as such will stalk humans with low connections to others. They kidnap them and perform mass embraces before burying them in the soil.
Chills run up your dead spine.
If you had not escaped, you would be forced into their army through threats of death and torture. That is what Flash and I are here to investigate.
You absorb what you have learned and decide to ask something else. Who's the other guy? You ask about Flash. Flash is a more complicated role, but they seem so chill. You ask what their role is.
Oh, me? I'm the prophet for the Camarilla.
So I'm going to go ahead and just take a stab here, given how much egg we have on our face after the last time we mischose the double L pronunciation.
Yeah. That it's going to be Camarilla.
I'm pretty sure it's Camarilla.
Okay. Sure.
You're floored. A prophet? You ask what they mean by that.
Basically, I can see visions of the present, past, and future, and I act as the sort of elder representative of my clan.
Elder of his clan? You tilt your head, curious. You ask about clans. They keep bringing up clans without explanation, and Anastasios takes over for this one.
While we do not fully know your clan, Rudy,
When did they learn your name?
I am a member of Clan Ventru, while Flash is a Malkavian. These are our bloodlines, and each bloodline has their own quirks. For example, as mentioned, Flash can see the future. As a particularly powerful and ancient member of his clan, I, however, cannot. But I can use other abilities, such as that of fortitude.
You ask what fortitude is, and Anastasios grins while Flash huffs at you.
Don't encourage him, he'll...
Anastasios took out a knife that had been strapped to his thigh and stabbed his hand in one swift motion. Wait, what the fuck? You stare in horror. Then you stare in confusion as Anastasios lifts the knife, showing it to be crumpled up like a jock's beer can. He smiles like he's done something very, very funny.
Fortitude allows me to do shit like that.
Flash crosses his arms.
Proud of yourself, dude?
Very.
Okay, let's change the subject. Okay, you've asked all the other questions you want to, but what now? What do you do with all this information? Anastasios stands as you ask him what to do next. He looks at Flash, pausing as if they're communicating silently, then turns to you.
Generally, you would have quite a difficult time being sireless and all. However, Rudy, we will strike a deal with you. As you have been made aware, Flash and I are here to investigate the Sabbat, who embraced you. They have been causing humans to disappear in droves in the past few months, leading us to suspect an attack is on the horizon.
Flash chimes in.
Not to mention, the people they're taking, most people forced into the Sabbat like that get killed in their first week. And it's all super duper illegal, you know? We got a system for embracing people, and it's got to be consensual.
Anastasios nods with Flash's words.
You can see why this is no laughing matter.
So they want you to help investigate? You ask if they want you to help investigate. Anastasios shrugs.
Yes and no. Mostly no. We may ask you further questions, however, we have a very immediate issue that we are dealing with. Rudy, have you ever been to Mesquite Truck Stop?
Mesquite, you've passed it. It's a pretty big truck stop for people traveling through the big interstate highway near here. As a kid, you stopped there on the way to go to the beach, and you remember the motel there being sort of dirty, but otherwise pretty normal. You remember your mom telling your dad to watch out for lizards, but luckily you never ran over anything. Come to mention it, you don't remember seeing a lot of reptiles in general. You say that you have.
We call it Mosquito Highway. To us, it's kind of like...
Flash gestures, unsure the best way to put it.
A blood farm? We have a faux blood drive set up there for collecting cheap meals for our personnel. The days of only being able to feed through the act of hunting, at least among the Camarilla, is long, long over.
Anastasios walks over to the door, picking up his leather jacket off your coat rack and putting it on.
According to prophecy, in 1 week, Mosquito Highway will be raided by the Sabbat. If you help us prepare, even in a small way, I will ensure some kind of job or position for you in Raleigh's vampiric society. You will have a home, food, and proper tutoring on how to survive. Do you accept Rudy Bratovitz?
No. You agree. What choice do you have? You don't know how to be a vampire. How would you even get blood? You have the seductive qualities of a wet sock, and these guys seem like they genuinely want to help you, even if Anastasios is kind of menacing. Anastasios grins, lifting his hair so it can lay over his coat.
Well, let us get a move on, then.
He opens the door and Flash follows, holding Taquito's vivarium. Quickly, you scramble to pack some things in an old backpack. Some clothes, some cash, and some of Taquito's essentials, then follow them into the night. Gotta take Taquito with us. You ride in their vehicle, sitting in the back with Anastasios. After you explain the full extent of last night's events, you two sit in silence. Between you and him, in the backseat of the vehicle, is Taquito's vivarium, strapped snugly in with a seatbelt. He's hiding in his little cave right now, but luckily for him, he's a little too airheaded to know how dangerous the whole situation is. It's hard to wrap your head around being in the car with such powerful people. You only dare to look at Anastasios when he's looking out the window, so a little in awe at the man being in his 60s. Embraced in the 80s, so he died in his 20s? That tracks. He sits with his arms crossed and legs spread, bouncing one of them to the beat of the radio, which is playing some kind of prog rock. Yes. Yes! Flash is driving with the passenger seat empty. Suppose that Anastasios wants to be back here so he can speak to you with eye contact. He makes very, very intense eye contact. It's sort of terrifying.
Ah, we're coming up on it.
Look out the windshield. Look out! The windshield! Mosquito Highway. The place was as grody as you remember. The sign seems ancient, and as you roll up to it, you take in the buildings. Pulling in, there's a large parking lot for trucks to the west. It's full currently with huge vehicles, but not a lot of people are awake and walking around at this time. Next to it is a massive gas station with pumps going on for what seems like forever. Up ahead to the north is a big skeezy motel called the Bedbug. It's old and brick, and man, you are getting flashbacks to sleeping on a thin mattress already. To the east is a small cluster of buildings consisting of Oxpeck Diner, Heartwarm Convenience Store, and what looks to be a small health clinic, considering the only signage is a big red needle. Oh look, they're also having a charity blood drive. Who would have figured? At Flash Parks, you decide that vampires are not subtle. Yeah, they really aren't, are they? Get out of the car. I guess when you have the advantage of most people cannot be convinced that you exist, you can be as unsubtle as you want to be. The two vampires turn to you, hands on their hips. Anastasios looks down at you with crossed arms.
The night is still young, so we are going to have a meeting with the mayor.
He turns, gesturing to the motel.
I have already contacted the hostess of the motel. Pasternak should have a room for you in your anole.
You almost tell Anastasios that Taquito is a gecko, but man, if Anastasios was tense before, he's like a brick wall now. He has his teeth grit, and even Flash looks like he's dreading something. Is the mayor that bad? So instead, you just nod, taking Taquito and your things while the two vampires leave to go to the convenience store. Enter the bedbug. You enter the bedbug. It's cleaner than it used to be, at least, but it's dreadfully dark and dreary in here. The windows have a thick blackout curtains for obvious reasons, and all the colors in here are some variation of rusty red, contrasting the blue-haired girl at the front desk. Must be Pasternak. Rad. She's a good bit shorter than you, standing with rod straight posture as you approach. She looks, emphasis on looks, your age, with long blue hair braided into pigtails that rest over her shoulders. She looks
Hatsune Miku.
Oh, finally! Miku's a vampire now. She looks up at you with big blank eyes that remind you of a haunted doll and speaks in a smooth, formal voice.
Welcome to the bedbug. You must be Rudy Brodowitz.
You tell her that you are, and she looks to another worker who takes her spot behind the counter immediately.
Come with me.
She quickly turns on her Mary Janes and walks to the stairs, heading up to the rooms. You scramble to follow her brisk pace despite her shorter legs. Pasternak's movements are so precise, so purposeful that you feel like a bumbling moron behind her. Okay, let's get a more detailed... Do we want to make conversation or get a more detailed description?
I don't know.
You get a better look at Fina. Her posture is perfect as she walks in front of you. It's almost intimidating, honestly. Makes you stand up straighter subconsciously, fidgeting with lint in your pockets as you try not to seem silly. Honestly, even though she has an unnerving energy, she's actually really pretty. She's very good at coming off as confident, and you can respect that. It matches her secretary-esque fashion sense and the dark makeup she likes to wear. She could probably beat the shit out of you, and you can't bring yourself to be upset about that. You should make conversation with her. You clumsily ask her name.
Fina Pasternak.
What an odd name. You ask if Fina is short for anything, and she shakes her head. She doesn't look back at you when you two talk. I feel like maybe it's rude to ask someone's age.
Maybe.
But it's probably business to ask someone what clan they are.
Let's try.
She cuts you off before you can ask for her clan.
It's just around the corner.
She shoots you a glare. Oh right, Vampire Secret Society. Feel like a doofus as you turn the corner, being led to a door. Enter motel room. Fina opens the door for you.
Allow me to show you some features of your new room.
She reveals a small room with a bed, small table and a chair set, and a closet and a bathroom. It's all very 70s feeling with the shag carpet to prove it. Fina takes Taquito's vivarium from you and places it down on the nightstand, plugging his lamp in.
This room gets somewhat warm during the day, so I'd recommend keeping the lamp off if the vivarium reaches over 80 degrees. Otherwise, your gargoyle gecko should be fine, and I will inform my staff to keep him hydrated and fed while you work.
Most people don't even know what gargoyle geckos are, let alone how to care for one. She turns to you, hands clasped together in front of her skirt.
If there is anything else, there's a phone in here for contacting the desk. Do not mention vampirism, the masquerade, or any such business over any phone line unless instructed to by the sheriff.
Hey, do you like lizards? You thank her for considering Taquito.
Taquito, is that his name?
She looks at your gecko, who has exited his hide to lick his eyeball. Riveting.
He must be a year old?
You nod and she tilts her head.
His tail is somewhat short. Did he drop it?
You chuckle. Yeah, he did. He escaped one day and got scared of something. To this day, you aren't sure what, since you just found him tailless in the kitchen one morning. Fina listens with a deadpan expression. Her eye contact is even more intense than Anastasio's. It makes you occasionally look away, picking a spot on the wall to stare at. Which topics?
Oh, that's new.
Oh, this is all new. You ask her what her clan is to start.
I am a gangrel. From what I've been told, you're an exceptionally new kindred, so that must not mean much to you.
Actually, it does. You tell her that when you were embraced, your captors mentioned it, and she looks grim. Well, grimmer. with 3 M's.
Yes, you were taken by the Sabbat. That was also mentioned in the sheriff's texts. If you want further information, the Gangrel are a generally anarch clan, and we do not tend to join the Camarilla, so you may not run into us regularly. The mayor is also a Gangrel, but otherwise, we're the only ones in this town.
You nod, understanding. You ask her what kind of abilities the Gangrel have, and she tilts her head.
Communing with animals, shape-shifting, and increased physical durability are our strong suits.
You ask if it's like the Venture with fortitude, and she nods.
Some clans have overlap, despite the Ventru being otherwise exceptionally different. We do have this in common. The sheriff is exceptional with fortitude, from what I have heard.
Wow! We have a lot of stuff to ask about. Let's go ahead and ask about her. You ask about her role in Mosquito Highway. She gestures around.
I am the hostess of the Bedbug, which means I make sure that the motel is comfortable, up to code, and accommodating. I am not as involved in the harvest as the others are, with my work in that area primarily being to make sure the truckers are behaved.
You ask her if she drinks from any of the truckers, and she shakes her head.
Due to religious obligations, I don't drink human blood unless my unlife is on the line. Mayor Gonchayov is very accommodating in that sense.
Religious obligations? She looks to the side a little, and you almost apologize for asking before she responds.
Previously, I mostly kept kosher. However, blood cannot be made kosher in any way, so I drink the blood of kashered animals as a way to get as close as I can.
Her eyes flick back to you. Her expression is unchanged, but there's a sad feeling in the air. To be able to stay religious in these circumstances.
I would rather not get into that too much.
That is reasonable. Let's ask about the Malkavians. You ask about the Malkavians. She taps her fingers together absent-mindedly, taking a moment to decide how to approach this. She has a very methodical form of speaking, and she often takes these pauses to prepare herself.
Malkavians. Generally, they are clairvoyants who can see visions or hear voices of what is happening in the present. If you have met the Primogen, Flash, you'd know he is incredibly powerful, able to see into the past and future much more clearly than others of his clan.
She takes another pause.
However, Malkavians tend to have a variety of mental health problems due to their abilities, as well as a curse of their bloodline. If I've heard the rumors correctly, Flash is agoraphobic as a result and prone to psychosis.
This takes you by surprise. Flash seems so chill, so you can't picture him having a psychotic episode at all. Agoraphobia, too? Fina continues.
I imagine, however, he's found some way of managing it, considering he's lived so long. I have heard the sheriff helps him considerably as well.
How old is Flash? You ask her how old Flash is. You swear you asked him before, but he got no definitive answer. To be an official, Flash has to be at least around as old as Anastasios, right? But Anastasio seems to be like such a caretaker to him that...
According to Mayor Gonchayov, Flash was embraced in the 1600s during the Holy Roman Empire's 30 Years' War.
You sputter and she tilts her head.
Is that shocking? I suppose you've never met someone so old. I apologize for being blunt.
You tell her it's fine, you just have to adjust is all.
I understand.
There's a silence. Ask something else. Wow, 400. You ask about the Ventru. I'm going to accidentally call it Venture at least 3 more times.
The Ventru brothers.
The Ventru brothers. Man, there's got to be a joke there somewhere, but I'm not familiar enough with the Venture brothers offhand to pull that off, so insert your own reference gag here, I suppose. Cold coffee. You tell her that Anastasios is the only one you've met. Do they tend to be so, punk-y? She blinks, taking a moment.
Oh, you're serious.
Why wouldn't you be?
Ventru are well known for being a choosy clan. They tend to embrace aristocrats, nobles, businessmen. As such, they tend to be in leadership positions.
You think back to Anastasios. He didn't exactly give off upper crust vibes. Before you can say anything, Fina explains further.
Anastasios famously had been embraced illegally like you were. That's probably why he showed you mercy.
Mercy? You ask her what she means by mercy. Her eyes widen further.
It's not important, just a poor choice in phrasing. Let's not dwell on it.
You'd like to dwell, but you get the sense that maybe you should ask something else. All right. Let's ask about the sheriff. You ask about Sheriff Anastasios. Who is he? What's his deal? Does he have a last name? Fina clasps her hands together.
Sheriff Anastasios. He has been acting sheriff since 2004, following the death of his superior. Usually, he deals with masquerade violations and sabbat threats.
She taps her nails together, and they're bright blue.
From what I've gathered, he does a fine job, but he has a reputation for being aggressive.
There's some silence before she adds,
I don't think he has a last name, but then again, it's very common for vampires to abandon their old surnames, and sometimes even their first names, upon entering vampire society.
Well, that makes sense to you. It seems like she doesn't know much about Anastasios. Well, at least nothing you don't already know by now, so let's ask something else. Let's ask about the mayor. There's always a mayor. Who is he? Fina said he's a gangrel, Fina said he's a gangrel, and you get the vibe that the sheriff doesn't like him.
Mayor Gomchayov took over around 20 years ago, back when this was an independent vampire community and not under Camarilla control. I do not know why the sheriff and Mayor Gomchayov dislike each other, but it's been like that for quite some time.
Fina seemed to think about it herself for at least a moment.
Apologies. I don't have as much information as you might think. I was only embraced earlier this year.
And you're already a hostess, huh? You tell her that you're surprised that they gave her the role of hostess so fast. She shrugs.
It's incredibly easy. Before me, they had a human ghoul do it.
You ask her what a ghoul is.
Feeding kindred blood to a human halts their aging and otherwise enhances them. In exchange, we give them work. Normally, when someone in the Camarilla wants to embrace a new kindred, they keep that person as a ghoul for a few years.
You make awkward eye contact.
Normally, being the key word.
I see. Well, let's settle in. Tell her that you'd like to settle in and unpack.
Of course, I wouldn't want to keep you, Mix Bratowitz.
She steps to the side so she can go around you, and you tell her to have a good night and walk further into your room to set down your bag. Let's unpack.
Wait.
She grabs your wrist suddenly with her cold, cold hands, and you flinch, tensing up as you look to Fina with alarm. You get kind of pissed. Memories of the other night of being grabbed and bitten bubble up in your brain. You snap at her. A "what the hell" escapes from your mouth as you rip your arm away, leaving Fina looking startled and embarrassed.
I noticed.
It looks like you freaked her out by raising your voice. Let's apologize for that. You say you're sorry. Explain you're still on the edge from being embraced, and she seems to calm down.
It's fine. I shouldn't have grabbed, but...
She points at your hand.
I noticed the claws.
You look down at your nails. Oh shit. How did you not notice your nails got even longer? When you poke them, they're much harder than they used to be, and Fina seems to ponder over them, hand on her chin.
Extending your nails into claws. That's something you do with Protean. Perhaps you're a gangrel as well.
She asks, studying your face with her big saucer eyes, and then she stands straight.
I'd recommend bringing this up to the mayor. In fact, once you're unpacked, his meeting with the sheriff will likely be ending, so you should meet them at the convenience store.
She pauses.
It was nice meeting you, Rudy.
You tell her that it was nice to meet her, too. Sweet! We got big vampire claws now. What does one do with big vampire claws? Do they, get in the way when you're just trying to, high-five someone? Do you, impale them by accident?
Almost assuredly. I mean, have you ever had fake nails?
No.
They get in
as
the
a
way
rule,
of everything.
No. She seems to smile the tiniest bit, but it doesn't reach her eyes. She nods to you and turns, exiting the room, leaving you to unpack. You decide to settle in. You unpack your things, putting your clothes in a pile on the table and making some food for Taquito. It's pretty simple. You just mix some crusted gecko diet with some water until it makes an applesauce-like substance. Then put it in a cup in his vivarium. You spray his tank for some humidity and then close it, telling the little guy that you'll be back. Fina said that the meeting with the mayor should be over by now, so you should head out of your room and nod at her on the way out of the bedbug. Oh, so you head out of your room and nod at her. Okay. I added a should there, and it made it weird. I didn't mean to do that. Turns out when you read a lot of words all at once without any practice or, forereading, it gets... Sometimes you mess some words up. Who knew? You approach the convenience store. Heartwarm convenience store. It's so small, but it seems like the most recently updated place here, reminding you more of an 8 to 12 shop rather than a secret blood harvesting front. You see Flash standing out front and goes to say hi, but he doesn't look happy. In fact, he looks kind of stressed out. No, annoyed. The otherwise cheerful guy is scowling while waiting outside like someone's puppy. What gives? Hey, what's wrong, buddy? He gives you a tired look.
Hey, Rudy. Sorry, I'm just...
That's when you hear the muffled yelling. One voice sounds like Anastasios, but the other sounds deeper. Mayor Keshi? All this yelling makes you feel anxious, and Flash's eyes widen, focusing for a moment before refocusing. He reaches over and lightly guides you with his hands to move to the side, and before you can ask what he's doing, the yelling gets louder and louder as Anastasios bursts out.
Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, that sounds bad. You and Flash stand there awkwardly as her turns, arms crossed at someone inside the store.
Presumably just an extra R. Honest.
Right. Sorry. Do you want me to take one of them, or
I don't know.
The narration seems to be very heavy on this, so I think
I can try and do every character. I'll give it a shot.
If you want, that's fine. Just because the narration already, even with all the other characters, narration seems to heavily outweigh that. So I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll run out of voices eventually, so it depends how long this game is.
Just give one of them a silly voice. It's fine.
Anastasios, for fuck's sake, you.
Keshi steps out, pausing his words when he sees you. You look at the mayor. Man, the mayor looks rad. This right here is my gender. That's a good gender. He's a young guy, probably physically only a few years older than you, tops. He wears a big fluffy parka that does little to conceal the fact that he's built like a brick shithouse. For some reason, his fangs were replaced with some kind of gold. Wait, do you have vampire teeth?
Whoa, haha, hey, you're Rudy, right?
He makes the most awkward expression, rubbing the back of his neck.
Aw, man, sorry. Hey, Anastasios.
He looks to the sheriff, who is just crossing his arms and tapping his boot.
Let's, chat later. Come on, Rudy, let's do vampire stuff.
He puts his big mitt on your shoulder and gently ushers you inside, leaving the others behind. Oh, wearing mitts because of the claw.
It is... I assumed big mitt as in the way you refer to someone's hands.
Oh, I was big... Oh, yeah.
Although I guess he is also wearing gloves.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Let's see. Go with Keshi. You stand in a heartwarm convenience store.
So...
Keshi looks nervous, but he quickly relaxes with a deep, wholly unnecessary breath. He looks down at you with a normal smile rather than a forced one.
I'm Keshi. Everyone calls me Mayor Gonchiov, but, that's really formal, so don't fret about it, Kay?
He holds out a hand to shake, and you do, and it feels like he shakes your whole body. Whew.
Oh, hey, look at that.
He looks down at your clawed hands.
You must be able to use Protean.
Fina told you about this. You tell him that Fina told you about Protean.
Ah, really? Oh, that rocks. That totally rocks.
Keshi rolls his shoulders, looking around to check once more that nobody's around. Luckily for him, despite the 24/7 nature of the shop, the only other person here right now is a very tired-looking cashier. They must be in on the blood scheme. He asks Keshi what he needs you to do, and his brows raise again. They're thick like potato slices.
Oh, yeah. Let me level with you, Rudy. That raid that Flash saw has been putting all of us at the end of our ropes. And, well, that fight I had with the sheriff, let's go to the back.
Keshi walks off to the back of the store. You follow him, curious, and he leans against a little desk in the grayest room imaginable, save for one of those "Hang in there" kitty posters on the wall. Wait, this one's a puppy? Cool.
Anastasios said that to maintain the masquerade, the ghouls, that's what we call our human helping hands, need to work as if nothing's happening. If we closed up shop all over, that would seem pretty off and pretty suspicious, and we'd lose money. We don't just farm blood for the Camarilla, after all. They need cash to run their operations and keep us all under the radar.
Oh, wow, that's evil. You must have a surprised expression because Keshi just grinned sheepishly.
Yeah, I know. But honestly, I think the sheriff doesn't actually believe it's right either. He's just
Keshi sighs.
Following the prince's orders. So, what I'm thinking is we put the ghouls in trucks 2 days before and drop them off in Raleigh. They can drive during the day so the Sabat can't get them.
Keshi is a rambler, but he's got such a casual, chill vibe to him that you honestly can't bring yourself to mind. You nod and say you understand, and he smiles.
Okay. Yeah, so the thing is, we gotta do this sorta off the books. Meaning it's just you and me, alright?
All we gotta do is prep the trucks I rented and make sure they're clean and functional. Nothing fancy. You up for it?
You remember the deal with the sheriff and figure you have no choice but to help. Let's help Keshi. The two of you head to the parking lot. Keshi leads you to 2 large trucks, and, oh man, they are grody. Like, literally, they have a layer of dirt like a cartoon. Keshi rubs the back of his neck.
Sorry, dude. Had to cheap out for something so last minute. We just gotta sweep out the inside a little so the ghouls are comfy, then go on a test drive.
Keshi gestures to a pile of cleaning supplies next to the trucks, and you just decide that, yep, this is your unlife now. Gotta love that.
Cleaning
Finally.
a beat-up old pickup to the sound of tense organ music in the background.
Hey, I just put on the Symphony of the Night soundtrack. I didn't pick what order they put it in, all right? You clean. Gotta love working retail your whole life, then dying just to do menial work again. You scrub. You two focus first on wiping down the windows and windshield with soapy water so that the drivers can actually see. Then you use 2 brooms to scare some spiders out of the vehicle, watching as they scurry into the night. You and Keshi are in the middle of dealing with cobwebs in the back of one of the trucks when you decide that you need to take a break and stretch before you go insane. He lets you. What a cool guy. When you turn the corner around the truck, you notice something off about a tire. Specifically, it's slowly going flat. You zoom back to Keshi and let him know.
Oh, crap. Really?
He's also taking a break, sitting crisscross applesauce and leaning against the wall inside the truck.
Well, spare tires are in the utility closet at the southeast side of the parking lot. It's sort of like a little shack.
Keshi
like
pulls-
a hut, you might say.
Oh, God, not huts. Anything but huts. Shack is fine. Not a shed, though. Keshi pulls the keys out of his pocket and tosses them to you. Catch those keys. Thwap! The keys hit you in the noggin while Keshi profusely apologizes. Go get the tire and let your dignity heal. With an ouchy head and a rumbly stomach, you go to find a spare tire. The utility closet is across the parking lot in a small little concrete hut with a locked metal door.
Oh no, it's a hut.
Not a hut! You shove the keys in the slot, wincing as your stomach begins to let you know that yesterday's cow wasn't enough. Ugh. You open the door, seeing pitch darkness. Shit, you don't even have a flashlight. Vampire night vision, though? You think about vampire media you have seen. Whether it's a video game, a tabletop, or even a podcast you used to throw up on while you drew. Used to throw up on is what I said. I'm gonna just... Or a podcast you used to throw on while you drew. There was always a few consistent traits to vampires. You can drink blood, you burn in the sunlight, so why can't you have night vision? Vampires have abilities as people have been hammering into you, and sure, you've only used your disciplines accidentally, but that means you can theoretically use them. So you clench your jaw, trying to force yourself to see the eyes of the beast. You close your eyes, and when they open, you can see in the goddamn dark. You feel your stomach gnaw at itself more intensely, but even then it works. You can see the inside of the little shed as you walk in, immediately spotting a stack of big-ass tires in the corner. Those are some big-ass tires. You grab one, preparing to have it roll to your destination, but find it surprisingly light. Vampire perks! Tire added to inventory. Get back to Keshi. Turn around, spotting Anastasios leaning against the doorway. Oh, man.
What are you up to, Rudy?
Oh, man. Oh, shit. You're in so much trouble and you've only been a vampire for 24 hours tops. What do you mean, what are we up to? Why would we lie about what we're up?
Because Keshi said this is off the books, it's just you and me. And Anastasios doesn't want the people to leave because it'll be sus.
Got it. So
what do we want to do?
I guess we can we tell Anastasios we're feeling a little tired?
Oh.
So I guess we gotta lie, right? Mayor seems to...
Do you think we'll be good at lying?
No, but either we tell him or we at least try to save face a little bit. I don't want to... Like, I guess which bridge are we about to burn here?
I know, right?
Let's what do you want to do? What do you want to do? You
doesn't matter.
No, you pick one now.
I assume the game is linear.
There are 5 different endings.
There are?
Yeah.
Fuck.
So yeah,
I guess we lie.
Shit, it's time to lie. You can't let Anastasios get in the way of this. Keshi will be upset. And what if all those people... you tell him that Keshi's car got a flat and this is for him. Anastasios gives you a skeptical look.
That's a bit large for...
He shakes his head.
Bah, I know nothing of cars. I do not even have a driver's license. Go ahead.
He steps to the side, allowing you to pass.
The sun will be up in an hour and a half, so once you make your delivery, be sure to head to your room, Rudy.
You nod, speed walking past him. That was a close call. Let's go back to Keshi. You head back to Keshi. He smiles wide at you, so you hand him the tire. Tire removed from inventory.
Thanks, man. See anything freaky over there? You look like you've seen a ghost.
He then gets a better look at you.
Oh, and it looks like you figured out night vision. Nice.
Tell him you lied to Anastasios. You tell Keshi that you lied to Anastasios. You told him about running into him and telling him that the tire was for Keshi's own vehicle, and Keshi snorted.
Wow, he still doesn't know a thing about cars, does he?
He laughed for a little, then it died off as he looked almost uncomfortable. No, sad for a moment.
Thanks for helping.
He flashes you a weak smile.
Let's do our test drive tomorrow, okay? We've only got a little while till daylight.
Let's finish up with Keshi. You and Keshi finish up. He shows you how to change the tire, then go your separate ways. He heads to the convenience store. Does he sleep there? You go into the bed bug, then immediately yelp, covering your eyes at the bright lights. Shit. Night vision when it isn't dark fucking hurts. You will yourself to turn it off, then see you're being stared at by some mortal truckers who were just up before the sun. You tell them you're fine, just hungover. They hoot and holler, and you walk by them and promise yourself to learn how to lie better. You wave to Fina on your way up the stairs. You head to your room, stretching and trying to ignore the hungry feeling in your gut. You lay down, say goodnight to Taquito, and close your eyes. End of night 1. Beginning of night 2. Save your game. Game saved.
Yeah.
Radical. You sit up, groaning and rubbing your eyes. You're so tired and you feel starved as you get up and out of bed. Looking at the clock, it's around 5:30 p.m. Sun's probably just now set. You walk over to Taquito's vivarium and spray him, replacing his food for the night. He licks his eyeball when he sees you. What a cute little blood bag. With that thought, you immediately close his vivarium. Yeah, you need some blood immediately. You hear a light knock at the door. You walk over and open the door, and Fina stands there.
Good evening, Rudy. Sleep well?
She asks this with that blank face and tone that she says everything with, holding a mini cooler. You can smell what's inside. It's blood. It's even better than what you had before. She sees you staring at the handheld cooler and sighs, handing it over.
This is your ration. Please eat it inside your...
Without even thinking, you snatch it, and then, embarrassed, you apologize.
It is fine. Drink that and I will give you your instructions for today.
She enters your room without asking, and you close the door. Drink. You sit on your bed. Fina takes a moment to look at Taquito in his vivarium while you open up the cooler, seeing the blood bag. Immediately you bit down on it, essentially shotgunning the bag and sighing as blood filled your mouth, some rolling down your chin. The world slows down for just a moment, comfort wrapping your body. You open your mouth a little more, swallowing only when your mouth is full. The fun ends fast when you squeeze down, feeling only an empty plastic bag between your palms now. You wring out any amount of blood that's left, but it isn't long until it's all gone. Fina clears her throat and you realize she's standing right above you. It's startling.
Today, you will be assisting the Malkavian Primogen, Flash. Would you like me to lead you to him?
Considering you don't know where he is, you nod and agree. Frowning and putting the empty bag in the mini cooler, she takes it from you, closing the container and pausing. She points at your shirt and you realize you got a bit of blood on your pajamas.
I imagine bloodied pajamas aren't comfortable for you, so I will step out and allow you to change.
Fina stands and steps out for a moment, change and come to meet her. You follow Fina, chatting with her. You tell her in hushed tones when you're away from truckers that you figured out a new technique last night. She nods, but a trucker you pass takes that as innuendo and whistles. You two ignore that.
You are gaining a solid understanding of it very quickly. If you'd like, later tonight I can help you further.
A different trucker whistles. Ignoring them, you nod, smiling and saying that would help a lot. You found yourself more used to Fina's formality. You get the sense that her stiltedness is just who she is, not her being mean or dismissive. You get that. She leads you to a door, and when she opens it, it's a stairway leading down into the basement. Your stomach growls a little again, and you hope that you'll get more rations at some point today. Go downstairs. You say goodbye to Fina and head downstairs. At the bottom of the staircase, you find yourself a mahogany door. This must be the basement. Knock, knock. You knock on the door, and soon enough, Flash opens it up.
Hey, buddy.
He looks behind you, trying to spot any keen that could overhear.
Sorry for grabbing you the moment you woke up. Mind helping me out?
He took a step to the side, allowing you to walk in and take in the basement. It was large and clearly meant for storage, and it was filled with boxes big and small. You look over to Flash and ask him what he needs help with.
Basically...
He shuts the door behind you, too, then leans against one of the larger boxes.
I'm not much of a fighter, so I'm going to be hiding down here during the Sabbat attack. You're going to help me unpack my things. Sorry, today's going to be a bore.
You ask if all these boxes are his stuff, and he shakes his head.
Not all, but a lot.
Well, this is your unlife now. You start to help unpack Flash's things. There's a mini fridge filled with blood. You don't rate his stash out of politeness. Then a small casket that the two of you handle with ease. Vampire strength rocks for him to sleep in. Then a box of clothes that he asks you to organize into a small chest he bought. It's a lot, but you'll take a moment of normally over squirrel eating iguanas any day.
So cool, cat.
Flash pulls out his blankets from another box, throwing them into his casket.
How's this whole thing going for you? Doing us all these solids, I mean.
It's going good. You tell him it's going good. You get along decently with everyone so far, and you haven't had your unlife threatened in some time, so that's something. That's something. That's in the positive column.
Hey, that's great for a fledgling.
Flash sits down on his casket. Something eats at you a little, and you fidget with the edge of your flannel. You tell him that you're not sure how much help you'll truly be when the raid happens. You don't know a thing about fighting, and you've only barely figured out disciplines. You admit that you haven't even figured out how to put your claws away yet.
Well, the claw thing is something Fina can help with. She doesn't mention it to everyone, but she's a protean savant. She's only been embraced for a little bit, and she's already figured out how to turn into a fish.
Wait, a fish?
She turned herself into a fish. Funniest shit I've ever seen.
Wait, a fish? You blink in surprise, but Flash keeps going. That is the funniest shit I've ever seen. Thank you.
And, well, listen, with fighting, you can't really help much, honestly. You're right, so just try and focus on keeping everyone around you happy and healthy, all right? These vampires can't keep you safe if they're tired or stressed all the time. You feel me?
You feel him, as in, like, you nod at what he's saying. Ask if he thinks you're doing a good job. You ask him if you were doing a good job so far, and Flash smiles at you.
Yeah, man, of course. From what I've seen...
Flash pauses, then laughs nervously.
From what I've heard, you're doing great.
You'll never get used to clairvoyance, so you just decide not to think about the implications and just thank him.
It's cool, man. Just gotta keep on trucking. The Sabbat are pussies anyway. We'll handle them. Just because my vision was scary doesn't mean that future will happen.
Vision? You ask Flash of what his vision was of, specifically.
Oh, yeah. I guess I was sort of vague when I told you. Hold on.
Flash speeds over to a box you haven't opened yet. It's long and rectangular, like some kind of plank. When he opens it, he lifts up a yellow synth keyboard.
So,
he pulls out the legs of the thing, setting it up so the keyboard is high enough for him to play.
My visions are kind of abstract and random as fuck, so I found the best way to show him off is to play a little jam. That okay, cool cat?
You say of course, and Flash grins. Let's let Flash bang out his tunes.
Everybody knows shit's fucked. Do 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 do.
Imagine like he starts with like the opening chords to 2112. We're gonna be here a hot minute. Flash plugs in his instrument, then cracks his knuckles. He clicks some buttons and backing tracks come out of his amps. He starts pressing keys like an expert, and you realize that this powerful, ancient vampire's prophetic tune is full-on, old-school, 21st century schizoid prog rock. Yeah! Put that shit into my veins!
It's going to be a moment. It's going to be about 12 minutes before we get to the verse, so, like, sit back. Get ready for some sick keyboard solos, though.
Oh, man. Oh, man. It winds up slowly, but it's quickly loud and chaotic, with Flash's hands going all over the board. He's really into it, eyes closed like he's played this 1,000 times. You realize that you've sat down, intimidated as the trumpet track grows quieter, then fades off almost menacingly. Guitars screech and yell, with the lead guitar going into the highs of its tune, while the bass guitar played it steadily, playing lower and supporting the whole beats. Higher, higher, so much higher, and you can feel it in your skull, see Flash playing in your brain. Then like that, the guitar track dies off suddenly. Crashing cymbals part way, and as quickly as it all began, slowly, the bass is left alone, before it too is snuffed. Flash stops, looking solemn.
If we don't do something...
You speak for him because you get it now. The trucks stop. People will be slaughtered, won't they? He nods, sitting down and gripping his head. The visions come in form of prog rock epics. I love this. This is great. This is exactly how all clairvoyance should be conveyed.
Oh, yeah.
It's very inconvenient. It requires you to listen to minimum 20 minutes. You sit down next to Flash, putting a hand on his back carefully.
I'm fine, cool cat. Just...
He rubs his eyes with the bottom of his palms.
The vision itself was a lot more intense.
He chuckles, looking at you with a weak smile.
Anastasios had to peel me off the floor.
You nod, then pause. You ask if Flash gets to choose when visions happen, and he laughs.
Nope. Gotta love being a Malk, huh?
He laughs a little, then sighs.
Sorry, I must be seeming like a wet rag right now, being all serious and sad.
You tell him it's no problem, and he seems to appreciate that.
Don't let Anastasios hear you being so nice. He'll call you a pansy.
He punches your shoulder casually, then pauses.
Well, pansy. Did you know he never used to have that speech impediment until he was embraced? Yeah, I have no clue what happened there.
Do you need any more help? Flash gestures around, and you realize that most of the boxes are unpacked.
That's all I needed, man. I'll just hide down here during the raid. Don't worry.
He gives you a big old grin, and you find yourself smiling back as you stand. You tell him you'll go see what others need help with, and then Flash stops you.
Keshi's just doing test drives right now.
Oh man, that secret didn't last long.
Fina's dealing with customers, and the sheriff's in a meeting with the prince.
Flash stood up, walking over and opening the mini fridge before taking a blood bag out of the fridge, then pouring it into an empty can of gamer fluid. You suppose, for normalcy. He turns and hands it to you.
Let's veg for a while.
Veg out. You agree! You chug some gamer fluid. See, there's two connotations for that, right? One is like the energy drink connotation, and the other one is the gamer girl bathwater connotation. Well, Flash turns on some jams, more prog rock of the Red Emperor variety. Okay, so it is King Crimson. He lays out the floor on his back, staring up at the ceiling, and you join him. You and Flash veg out for a few hours. Sounds like he's pretty disciplined. Yeah?
Yeah.
I just came up with the episode title for this one. One More Red Nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. After some time, you get up. You tell Flash you ought to head out, and he waves, just saying bye while you head back upstairs. You are no longer a veg, just a fruit. You're glad you didn't say that one out loud. Enter the lobby once more. It's later at night, and you stand in the lobby of the bed bug. There's not a lot of keen in here now with how late it is, so you have some free time. What now, Rudy? Let's go see if Fina's busy. You go up to the girl at the front desk. She's an older woman, and you ask her if she's seen Miss Pasternak anywhere. She tells you that Fina's in the break room, which is just behind the desk. She seems to know you're a vampire because she lets you walk right into the employee-only area. Inside, you spot Fina. She was drinking animal blood from a bag with a straw, holding it like a juice box. She looks up at you.
Oh, evening.
She drinks the last of the blood before trick-shotting the bag into the bin without looking. You tell her that was sick as fuck, and she says she knows.
Did you need anything?
I'm gonna need Protean help. You ask Fina for more help with Protean. She nods.
Of course. Aside from accidentally summoning claws, what have you accomplished?
You tell her that you figured out night vision. She nodded again, thinking.
That's a good start.
She stands, rolling her shoulders.
For summoning claws on purpose, well, it's a similar principle.
Summoning? Well, you check your hands and, oh, the claws had disappeared at some point. You must have sheathed them subconsciously. Maybe when you were vegging out with Flash?
Hold out your hands.
She holds hers out as well, and you mimic her, and she closes her eyes.
Imagine all the blood in your body flowing to your fingertips, then release.
She says that, and like that, she flexes her hands, revealing long, sharp claws.
It's truly that simple, even as you get more complicated.
She flexes her fingers again, and webbing grows between them like that of a fish. God, that is cool. Summon claws. Imagine blood flowing into your hands. You close your eyes and jerk your fingers, feeling your nails distend. You open your eyes again and view your claws, feeling yourself get hungrier. You thank Fina for the help and ask if she can show you anything else, and she nods.
Of course, we have quite a few hours until the sun comes up, so let us make the most of it.
Training montage! For a few hours, Fina helps you out with learning Protean. You can now reliably sheath and unsheath your claws. Sure, that was all you were able to figure out, but Fina says you are okay for now. She tells you that maybe when things have settled down, she can try to help you discover your other disciplines. And you agree. Wondering what clan you should be, and feeling pretty good about the future. You head back to your room, say good morning to Taquito, and head to bed. End of night 2, beginning of night 3. Save your game. I will save our game. That morning, you head to Anastasios for further instruction. You go over to his motel room after an employee told you where he was, and then knock again. Finally, after a few minutes, the door slowly swings open to show a tired, disheveled Anastasios.
What?
He sounds exhausted. You ask him when he last slept, and he huffs.
I am too busy for such things. Do you want an assignment? I have paperwork to deliver and need no distraction. Go ask Flash if he needs anything.
He's about to close the door. Should we stop him from working himself to death?
Probably.
You ask Anastasios if he wants you to just deliver it for him. He pauses, considering it, then huffs.
I suppose I should make you useful. Bah, fine. One moment.
The old man walks into his room and goes to a table, organizing the insides of a small box before closing it and walking to you and handing it over.
Listen, neonate. You are not to open this, nor are you to lose this, understand? This is for Gonchayev's eyes only.
He hands you the box. You nod and he sighs.
I will find something else to work on. Go on, the sun won't stay down forever, Bratowitz.
Let's deliver the box! You head over to the convenience store. Kishi was speaking to the cashier when you walked in, immediately perking up.
Hey, what's up, dude?
You tell him that you have a delivery from Anastasios, and he takes it.
Oh, groovy, thanks.
In that moment, you wonder if Keshi is just as old as Anastasios.
Hey, chill with me for a sec while I open this bad boy up.
He heads into the back and you follow. Let's chill with Keshi groovy style. You follow Keshi into his office. He opens the box, scanning it.
I imagine delivering stuff is probably not what you expected to do as a vampire, huh?
You tell him you expect it to sparkle, and he laughs at that.
Ha! I wish we did that. I miss sunlight.
Curiosity gets the better of you, and you ask what's inside the box, and Keshi beams.
Oh, it's something from the city. Hold on.
Keshi sits on his desk, pulling out a rubber foot. Hey, yo, what is that rubber foot for? Before you can say a word, Keshi pulls off his left leg from the knee down, making you yelp in surprise. Keshi looks up at you with alarm.
Oh, crap. You didn't notice.
He wears baggy jeans, so you had no idea his leg was prosthetic. You tell him as much, and he just goes,
Whoops. Yeah, I lost it a while back.
He pulls the boot off his fake foot to reveal an older version of his new delivery.
I replaced this part a lot since it wears down. One moment.
He pulls the old foot off and places it on his desk, then puts the new one in place with a couple of well-placed thwacks. He smooths out the sock-like garment on his stump before sliding the prosthetic back on, then puts on his boot. He stands doing a little hop to test it out.
Oh yeah, that's way better. I won't trip in this as much.
He leans against his desk. Let's be normal about this. I love the gag of option you click in a Twine game says one thing, immediately do the opposite thing because you cannot be normal about things. You ask how he lost his leg. You blurted it out and you feel stupid. Keshi just sighs.
It's, well, I was actually in the same state as you.
You perk up at that.
Except instead of getting away after the Sabbat embraced me, they buried me alive as a test. Once I crawled myself out, well, the Sabbat demand obedience through torture.
He clasped his hands together.
Since I was an obstinate guy and the oldest, they made an example out of me. One of the clans, the Tsimiske, they can do all sorts of flesh crafting, bone-altering stuff. It's a modified version of what lets us make claws or turn into animals, so to scare the others, they took one of my shins and both of my fangs.
Your heart drops, and then Keshi smiles dopily.
Hey, man, sorry, that too bleak? Crud, could have been worse. I mean, I could have been fighting a Nom instead. That's worse.
You tilted your head, asking if he was drafted, and Keshi laughs.
Yep, and just my luck, too. It was the last year they were even issuing drafts, and they got me. If I'd have gone, I'd probably not be a vampire, but I'd be dead regardless, no doubt in my mind.
You ask how he got out of it.
Ran. That's how I got away from the Sabbat, too.
Ah.
I was on my way to my physical and got cold feet and just skipped town, became homeless for a bit. That's when I was picked up.
Let's tell him our own story. You tell him how you were embraced. You tell him about helping a girl, only for her to turn you into the woods. He remarks on how common that is, then lets you talk about waking up in a van, surrounded by what you now know were other vampires. You were only able to escape because there was a dog on the road. Keshi's eyes widen.
Wait, was this a couple nights ago?
You say yes, and Keshi grins.
That was me.
What? You look at him in confusion.
You know how us gangrel can shapeshift? Well, I like to take dog walks.
Kashi chuckled, rubbing the back of his neck.
Do I walk the dog or do I walk the dog? Yes.
One night sounds like either way you walk, dog.
One night I'm taking my walk, clearing my head, when these meatheads almost run me over. They jumped out and immediately attacked me, probably recognizing that I was actually a vampire dog.
You reel at the idea of someone being able to just go fully dog like that. It kind of blows your mind, but you're used to having your mind blown. You tell him that's why you were able to run away, and he smiles.
I'm glad I could help. Sucks that I wasn't able to save everyone, though. One of them had a shotgun, so I had to lay around for a while to let that heal while those shovelheads drove off. Was that girl your sire?
You nod, and he sighs sadly.
She seemed more scared than anything when we fought. She was probably put up to luring you. That's a real common thing they do to recruits that they deem the pretty ones. They probably stalked you for a while to give her stuff to say to you.
That makes sense, but it puts a pit in your stomach.
Listen, you survived. Sorta. Don't look so beaten up about it. I don't like to turn away fledglings. Fina was all freaked out when I found her, too.
Fina? You watch Keishi reminisce.
Yeah, man, I found her a while ago just wandering the streets. Her embrace wasn't pretty either.
Keshi sighed.
Group of guys just made her a vampire and left her to burn in the sun as a prank. Really makes my blood boil. That girl's like a daughter to me, so be nice to her, all right?
You ask if granddaughter would be more accurate, and Keshi lightly punches your shoulder with a serious expression.
No.
He goes back to being casual.
Speaking of, I worry sometimes that the ghouls don't like her, and I get the feeling that the other vampire staff, it's not just me and her operating this place, are, I don't know, mean to her, so be a friend to her, okay?
Oh, don't worry, we're way ahead of you, bruh. You tell him that you and Fina are becoming friends. Keshi beams.
Oh, that's great.
He looks up and sees the clock.
Oh, crap, I shouldn't be keeping you for much longer. You should go back and talk to Anastasios.
We should probably tell him that Anastasios looks fucking exhausted.
Yeah.
You tell him that Anastasios seemed exhausted, actually.
What? Has he been skipping on sleep again?
Keshi crossed his arms, huffing.
That guy. Change of plans. I'll go check on Anastasios, and you can go do whatever you want.
You two walk out of the store, and Keshi gives you a wave before walking off to the bedbug. You feel your stomach rumble. You head back over to the motel. Sadly, your door's on the other side of the motel from Anastasios, so you don't get to see that interaction. Actually, maybe that's a good thing. You head downstairs and knock on the basement door, greeted by Flash.
Oh, hey, cool cat. What's good?
You ask him if he could spare more blood bags, and he nods, letting you inside.
You know, the nurse at the medical tent will just give you some. Thanks for chilling with me, though.
Aw, yeah, we just chillin'. We're here to chill. You spend the rest of the night shooting the shit with Flash. Excellent. Good night. That is a good evening. Whoa. You wake up the next evening to a knock at your door. You sit up exhausted, saying morning, then with a stutter, evening, to your gecko before hobbling over to open the door. Keshi stands there wearing his signature grin.
Hey, Rudy, it's the night.
The night? Then you remember. It's the night that you're moving the ghouls. You ask Keshi why they're doing this at night instead of during the day, like he said, and he sighs.
The ghouls, they said they're too spooked to go alone. I tried to explain it, but you know how humans are.
He sighed, then gestured down the hall.
Let's get a move on, yeah? You have a driver's license?
You say yes, and Keshi smiles.
And you'll drive truck too. Get dressed and come on.
But truck driving is fundamentally different from car driving. Keshi turns and heads down the hallway while you close the door, getting ready and desperately trying to wake yourself up. Go help. You join Keshi in the parking lot. You can see Fina ushering some workers onto trucks. Tonight there will be no truckers due to the closure. Luckily, since nobody stays at this motel for more than a night, you imagine it wasn't too difficult to clear out occupants. Keshi waves you over, smiling. Yo, what up? Go to Keshi. You walk over to Keshi, and he's leaned against a new truck, grinning.
Hey there, new kid. Ready to get this show on the road?
You ask where you're dropping them off.
Morrisville. I called in a favor and they'll be staying over there. Ready to drive?
Let's get to driving. With no distraction, Keshi goes to get the keys. Comes back and tosses them to you. Keys added to inventory.
Ready to go?
You nod and get in the truck, with Keshi's voice playing over the radio.
Hey, this is Air Force 420 reporting for Doobie. Anyway, I'll give you the directions from here.
You are already tired of this. Let's drive to Morrisville. You drive, and it's all without issue. Doesn't really take long to get to Morrisville, and driving there with Keshi's radio instructions, easy peasy. You stop after a while to text next to a cheap motel.
There. The Sabat won't dare to hurt him here. We're too deep in Camarilla territory, and the burbs are too peaceful to have a shootout without notice. It's foolproof.
Keshi sighs.
My wallet's gonna hate me after this.
Oh yeah, this must all be out of pocket.
Anyways, let's get back.
Go home. Stomach growling, you make it back. Keshi hops out of the truck, beaming.
That was simple. Almost too simple. You think we were missing anybody?
You shake your head, and he shrugs.
Oh, well. Hey, you look like you're dying of thirst. Come on, let's get you something to chug.
You go with Keshi into the bed bug, and you hang out with him and chow on his blood stash until you head to bed yourself. Let's save. You get ready and you exit your room. You're almost used to waking up here. You've had no heartbeat for days now, and you've become accustomed to feeling colder than you should. You walk into the lobby, stomach grumbling. Let's spot Fina. You spot Fina in the lobby. Oh, hello! She seems pretty tired. We can stare at each other for a while if we want to.
I got distracted because I heard a sound.
That's fine.
Evening. Need anything?
I hear sounds all the time, too. It's just one of those things about being embodied. Honestly, it seems a little bit rough, but better than the alternative, I'm told. You ask her if she needs help with anything, and she shrugs.
I am fine. You should check with the sheriff or the mayor.
She seems tired. You say that she seems tired, and that you want to help. She looks surprised by the offer.
Oh, really? That's...
She looks to the side.
I suppose. Let's move to my room for a moment.
The two of you walk back to her room, and wow, it is not what you expected. It's laid out like a bedroom with nicer furnishings and decor, but you did not expect it to be like this. Her room feels like a record store with a wall dedicated to posters from bands. She seems to enjoy goth and electropop. Films, lots of trashy 80s horror flicks, and anime. That pink girl sure is holding a sword.
Ha! Nice.
Nice. She leans against her fake velvet couch, looking down. Ask her what's up. Ask if she's all right, and she rubs her temples.
It's just a tad stressful is all. Having to prepare for the raid. Being a vampire is stress. I should be dealing with it rather than putting this on you. I apologize. I barely know you.
You say it's okay. You like helping her out. She smiles, appreciative. It just doesn't reach her eyes. But it's all right. That's just her.
Well, I appreciate that. I suppose it's fine to discuss these things. Pressure.
You ask her what she means by pressure.
Being a kindred, it's pressure. I had to overturn my entire life one day. Previously, I was planning on how I was going to go to college. Now, I'm preparing to fight for my unlife.
She chews the inside of her cheek. You tell her how smart she is, and she was probably prepared to go to a pretty big fancy college. She laughs a little. It's weak.
No, I flunked out of high school. I was looking into trade schools or community college. Don't let my glasses fool you.
Damn you, glasses, you have lied to me once again. You know what the glasses don't lie about, though? How cute people with glasses are. Especially you. No, you. I love you.
It's fine. I don't have that angst anymore. It's just, I do not have much anymore. It's hard to explain.
Tell her you can listen. You tell her you don't mind listening.
Thank you.
She clasps her hands together.
Before I came here, I was living at home. My parents were on the board for the fancy private high school I flunked out of, so you can imagine the friction. I had just dug myself out of a...
She sighed.
Very negative mental spiral that I fell into during my senior year, and it seemed like I had everything under control again. I started going to synagogue again. My parents were both assimilated and only took me for free preschool, and I had a community college lined up. I was planning to go for film history.
You look over at her wall, telling her you noticed how much she liked film.
It's something I've always enjoyed. My mother and Babushka traveled here from the USSR when they were allowing Jewish emigration. And when they arrived, they brought a lot of strange film from their home country. I could never understand any of it, but it awakened a passion in me.
You like to listen to her talk. Her voice is calm and smooth, even if you found her tone cold initially. Fina sighed, sad.
I had plans, as most of us did before our deaths, because of those...
Fina's voice trembled, but she quickly calmed herself.
Those people deciding to embrace me for fun, to mess with me. I can't even practice my own religion anymore. I had to leave town. I didn't like my parents, but they didn't deserve to lose a daughter.
She covers her face with one hand.
I'm sorry. This is probably too much. I'm being inappropriate. It's so hard, you know? Nobody here. Aside from Keshi, nobody sees me. God doesn't. Not anymore.
You find yourself walking over to her and ask her if she wants a hug. You go to ask her if she wants a hug, but before you can even finish, she takes you up on that offer. You two stay like that for a while. Let's move on. Your stomach growling ruins the moment. She pulls away.
Oh, you should go get some blood before you frenzy and lose your mind.
You agree, say your goodbyes, and head out of the room. You walk out of the bed bug and head to the charity blood drive. Go get some blood, Mosquito. You enter the blood bank.
Hello, we've got blood. Blood on deck, blood on the floor.
What about this blood? Is that gluten-free? Want you to take that shit out, the blood. It's a small brick building with a couple of benches for people to wait to get their blood drawn. The woman behind the desk is wearing its, slutty nurse getup? I mean, if it works, ma'am. You respect that. You figure she's still here due to her required service as the blood handler. She beams brightly at the sight of you.
Hey, yo, just wait over there, sugar, and I'll help you out.
You walk over and lean to her, whispering that you're looking for blood for personal use. She gasps.
Oh, I get it. You're the new hire.
She looks around, confirming that she's alone, and takes you to the back. Let's go with her. She takes you to the back. It's a brick room again with rows and rows of different fridges. She opens one, pulling out a blood bag and handing it to you.
Here you go. Present from your favorite nurse. Be positive.
You tell her that you'll be super positive, thanks, but she corrects you.
No, that's my name. B as in Beatrice. Ha ha.
Sorry, had a reaction for a moment. She gives off such a bubbly vibe that it actually scares you. Unnerved, you back up to leave.
Hey, one thing first.
She clasps her hands together, eyes big.
Do you think they'll be making me a vamp, soon? I'm gonna be 30 soon, and I don't want to get preserved with wrinkles.
Oh, man, you tell her you're just the new kid. You can't tell her anything. She scowls at you.
Nah.
This is awkward. She just sighs, arms crossed.
That's fine. Have fun with, your blood, new kid.
You say bye to Nurse B positive while facing her so she doesn't attack you like a feral animal. Let's go back to the bedbug. You head back to the bedbug, thoroughly weirded out. Flash flags you down, asking for technical support with his mini TV he has in his hidey hole. That takes up the rest of your night. While working, you ask him if the Carmilla ever intends on making Bia a vampire.
Oh, her? No, she's no.
Yeah, you expected as much. After you're done, you head to bed to prepare for the doozy of a night coming up. Yeah, she's a bit much. Save your game? Oh, I didn't save.
Oh, no.
What? Okay, well. It's the night before the raid. Anxiety runs deep in your gut. You ready yourself, picking up Taquito's vivarium on one arm. You figure in case you need to run, you'll keep it in Flash's car, so you take him out of your room and downstairs. Flash opens his door with a smile, but it's strained.
Hey, cool cat.
He spots Taquito's vivarium.
Oh, this little fella. Here, I'll...
Flash reaches forward, but stops to wince, covering his face.
Sorry, I'm... Vision.
He shakes his head and you back up. He looks pained. Let's give him some space. Flash looks visibly shaken.
I'm fine. Sorry, just a random vision. Sorry, cool cat.
He smiles at you once more. You ask him if you can put Taquito in his car tomorrow night in case they need to drive off, and he nods.
Of course, always happy to help.
You thank him profusely.
It's no prob. You should go check on the others. Make sure it's all good, okay?
You nod, saying bye to him and Taquito before heading back upstairs. Let's all go to the lobby. Alone in the lobby, you decide on who to check on. Let's check on Fina.
Okay.
Fina Pasternak. The quiet, formal gang girl receptionist, she's so withdrawn that getting conversation from her was like pulling teeth, but you tried. How do you think you did with her? You did well. You go to check on Fina, knocking on her door. She opens it, fixing her braids.
Evening, Rudy. Are you prepared?
You tell her that you're as prepared as you'll ever be, and she nods, smiling.
Excellent. I believe we will make it.
She taps her fingers together. Do you have a good luck charm? Immediately you sputter, feeling stupid, but Fina smiles wider in a smug way. She puts her hands on your shoulders and stands on her tiptoes, giving you a kiss on the cheek.
There. Now you are impervious to all forms of damage.
Oh, so that's like when she's kidding. You like it. Or maybe she's not joking. You don't fully understand how vampires work just yet. You smile at her, then rush back to check on the others. Aww. Let's go check on Anastasios. Sheriff Anastasios, the loud, crude venture sheriff. Ventrue, Sheriff. Perpetually stretched too thin due to clear workaholism, you found the guy the most terrifying, but also probably the most intriguing. How do you think you did with him? Did poorly. Go to Anastasios' room, knocking on the door. After a while, he opens it, looking even more exhausted than before. Jesus.
Hello.
He rubs his eyes. You ask if he's prepared, and he huffs at you.
I'm an immortal fucking vampire. Of course I do.
He pauses, seeming to space out, then comes to once more.
Go check on the others. I must make my own preparations.
You nod, backing up as he closes the door. Let's go check on the others. Mayor Keshi Gonchiov, the mayor of the truck stop, a kind man, even if he is a bit of an airhead. He has some sort of long-standing beef with Anastasios, and he cares for everyone in the truck stop deeply. How do you think you did with him? You did poorly. Go to Keshi's room, knocking on the door. He opens it, smiling a little.
Hey, bud.
He sounds strained, tired, but otherwise he's pretty cheerful.
Ready for tomorrow? I'm trying to prep stuff myself.
You tell him you're as ready as you'll ever be, and he smiles.
Radical. Well, I'll see you tomorrow at sunset, Tiger.
He gives you a warm smile, then shuts the door. Go check on the others. Checked on everyone you want to. Everything's in order for tomorrow. With the stress of tomorrow looming over you, you go to the blood bank for a full meal, then get back to your room for a moment of peace. You've done everything you can, so you nap the rest of the day off. Final night, The Raid. Yes! Finally, my favorite action film. Anastasios and Keshi are there first. They don't look at each other. Anastasios walks up to you and hands you a Glock as the other vampires... Alright! As the other vampires who work at the truck stop shuffle in, all looking unsure. God, Anastasios' hands are so shaky from exhaustion it makes your heart hurt.
We do not expect you to do a great amount of fighting tonight. Use this to defend yourself, Bratowitz. Aim for the head every time. Always, always destroy the brain.
Anastasios sounds solemn. You thank him and he nods, returning to where he was. Keshi looks around. Where's Fina?
Where's Fina?
Oh, sorry. That's the first time I fucked it up, though.
Yeah.
This entire... Wow. It isn't long after he asked the question when Fina comes downstairs.
I am here. I am prepared.
She looks at you and you smile at her reassuringly. She isn't holding a gun like anyone else. You wonder if she's the weapon. Keshi gives her a reassuring hug that she gladly takes while Anastasios looks around.
I shall check on my own small friend.
He goes downstairs to check on Flash. Let's wait for Anastasios. After some time, Anastasios returns, shaken.
I can't find Flash.
You look over at him, shocked. You ask where Taquito is, and Anastasios looks panicked. He's exhausted and at the end of his rope. Vampires ask him what to do, and he doesn't know what to say. Just gesturing and telling some to stay, some to go to the blood bank as guards, and some to guard at the convenience store. It's up to Keshi. Keshi leaves Fina's side, comforting Anastasios for a moment.
Hey, we'll find him.
He goes to put his hand on Anastasios' shoulder, but can't bring himself. They're long past that. Keshi starts directing some of the vampires, sending them to different buildings to guard. You fidget with your gun, nervous. Where did Flash take Taquito? Why did he leave? Let's contemplate this. Outside, you hear vans park. In an instant, everyone hits the floor as deafening gunshots are fired, going through the glass. You cover your head, taking cover with Fina and Keshi below the now broken window. Your eyes squeeze shut in panic as gunfire is traded between vampires. The only thing that rivals the volume of the gunfire is Keshi's scream. Open your eyes. His reaction time was too slow. His exhaustion was too deep. He watches Anastasios falls to the floor, seeping blood from too many holes to count. His head has been practically blown open by shotgun shells. Keshi scrambles to feet despite this rain of gunfire, reaching Anastasios' body right as it turns to ash in his hands.
No. Babe, please.
He grips the ash before he, too, is shot. He falls on top of Anastasios' remains, practically dissolving before your eyes, leaving only clothes and a prosthetic leg behind. You look to Fina, and she's in utter shock. This is a shit show. You can't let anything happen to her, so you grab her hand and crawl while the gunfight happens above you, but she doesn't budge. Bloody tears fall down her face as you watch her deform. Scales grow all over her body, her eyes widen further, and her teeth extend. Fins extend from all over her, exposing the true power of her protean to you. Fina crawls through the window like an animal, and while you don't look, you can hear the sounds of people being torn apart while you crawl meekly to hide behind the lobby's counter, wait for this all just to end. Hours later, you can hear the gunfire cease. You look up and see Fina covered in blood from head to toe. She's deactivated her protean form and now looking like a tired, traumatized girl. You stand up looking around to see devastation. There's dust and bones and corpses around, making you wonder what is left behind depends on the vampire, and you don't dwell on it. You tell her that it's over. She's okay, but she just shakes her head, unable to bring herself to speak. She just turns, hands over her ears while she walks up the stairs so slowly. What now? Over time, things heal. You help Fina clean up the motel alongside the other vampires. The Camarilla is contacted about the death of their sheriff and the disappearance of their primogen, as well as the death of the mayor. According to Fina, she had spent hours to convince the prince that helping to support the truck stop's repair was worth it, but she managed. You wonder if she bargained for something, but what would she have? She's the mayor now, but she's gotten so much colder. Since the death of Keshi, someone she cared for deeply. She's closed herself off. The blooming relationship that was forming between you two wilted, and now you are essentially associates. She gave you work as the motel's host, and once again you are alone behind a counter. Live on.
Bad end.
Bad end.
Yay.
Wow. Well, that was rough.
Yeah. We lived, though.
We
we didn't.
Well, for certain values of. So, like I said, there are different endings to this game. So I didn't see a whole ton of inflection points, but there were definitely a couple I noticed.
Yeah.
So, if this seemed cool to you, we're going to leave a link in the description. You should definitely check it out and try playing it for yourself.
Do it.
You should do that and support the dev because this game is really cool and I like playing more Twine games on the channel. And apparently vampires are just a thing we're doing now.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that to be where we ended up as a channel, but I guess that's what we're doing.
I mean, it makes sense. It's Dracula season.
It is Dracula season.
It's about to be Halloween.
Be careful.
Which means that, we started Crimson Spire, several months beforehand, so that all fits within Halloween season.
Yeah, okay. We started with witches, and now look at us. We'd like to give a special thanks to all of our patrons for supporting us another month, including some of the patrons that are I'm Jacked In tier, like Alice,
Alyssa Clarkson,
Raina,
Snowflurry,
The Fighting Doll,
and Wheelbaron.
People who support us at patreon.com/8pr get to vote every month on an indie creator for us to feature on the channel. That's why we were playing this game this month, that's always made it so we play different games than we would play otherwise, which keeps our channel really cool and interesting and fresh, in my opinion. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah. Patrons also get access to a couple of other things, including getting to watch Patreon exclusive episodes. They get to see the Patreon potpourri a month before that goes live on the main channel, as well as watching the entirely Patreon exclusive Let's Play of Ace Attorney. Yeah, and all the stuff we make from that goes back into the channel, so that just makes our channel bigger and better. So thank you. And, funds, games, and stuff, and equipment, and all that goodness. So, yeah. Thank you. That means a lot to us.
Thanks,
patrons.
Patrons.
Yeah. See, you're on board with this.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.